this thing on.
What is up, everyone? Welcome into another episode of The Cut. I'm your host, Christian Williams, and I am here, as always, with Randy Hall. Randy, how are you, man?
Doing good. Adjusting to the darkness that is Milwaukee. It's pitch black by 5, and it's apparently getting worse. So we'll see how that goes.
You got another
hoping the
month of it.
Cavs can storm back here against the Bucks.
Not going to happen. They look like
I
crap.
think it's 91 to 100 right now.
Sick. That's cool. They've been just putting themselves in holes and then coming back, So, but they probably won't make it happen because
Unfortunately,
Lamar Stevens is playing a lot. We're here to talk about Week 11 of the NFL, Week 10 too. We're doing a little standings update today, and then we're going to go through each game as we always do on this show. Really quick before we get into everything, spoiler-free thoughts on Wakanda Forever, Randy. How did you like it?
I liked it. It was a really good movie. It didn't feel like a movie that you overly had to watch like a bunch of other Marvel movies for. Probably Black Panther 1, but
yeah,
it was really good. No complaints really. Clear villain, clear reasonings for everything. So I think it was pretty cut and dry and just well written, even though they had to completely kind of change the script, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there's some crazy
spoilers.
stuff
Obviously, I'm not gonna go into anything on the movie.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I see it Saturday at 11:30. So
yeah,
but just wanted to go see it. Everyone's out there seeing it, but
100%.
Go see it. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the current NFL standing. So in the AFC, the Chiefs are leading the way at 7-2. They obviously are past their bye. The Dolphins are 7-3, and they're in the lead for the AFC East right now. After the Bills break down against the Vikings, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. Titans are 6-3, Ravens are 6-3. Those are your division leaders. Then in playoff positions, we've got the Jets at 6-3, the Bills at 6-3, the Patriots at 5-4. And then outside looking in, Chargers, Bengals, Colts, Browns, Broncos, Steelers, Jaguars, Raiders, Texans. Any thoughts on that?
We'll see what happens with the Raiders. Almost rooting for losses at this point. Maybe beat the Broncos just despite sweet, but here we are. Browns, if they can kind of look out this week, they have an outside chance here, I think. That 7th seed is really up for grabs, in my opinion, right now. I really don't think the Colts have a chance, so I kind of write them off, unfortunately. I don't think the Broncos or Steelers, so it's really, to me, like a 4-team race for it. And then maybe if the Jets kind of collapse, maybe that opens up another potential spot. But the Bills they have losses against the Jets and the Dolphins. So even if they would have won this last week, they'd still be at 5 seed. So they definitely have to win some here, and we'll get into this week, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah. Read the Jets here. They've been winning despite their quarterback play. That has to change over the back half of the year. It's just they're not going to be able to continue doing that. So hopefully this bye week, coming off the bye, Zach Wilson, something clicks for him. I don't anticipate it, which is why I don't know that they're going to hold at the 5 seed there. Their defense is pretty crazy, but Bill Belichick didn't really give them a whole lot of respect in the press. Normally he overpraises everyone that he actually respects. He said they're the Jets. The Jets are the Jets, and that's all he said. And so I think he's pretty focused in on this one. So,
yep, we'll go quick later. So,
yeah, for sure. NFC side, Eagles 8-1. Although kind of bullcrap, I'm still against that call that we'll talk about. We'll talk about later.
We can talk about it now.
Sure.
You go.
Sure. Yeah, so the game ended. The Eagles made a lot of mistakes in this game. It was like I saw a tweet. Someone said it's like when Madden tells you you're not going to win a game no matter what, and I couldn't have felt that more. Because then when I was thinking about all the plays, I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what happens in Madden. But the final play where I think it was Brandon Graham,
Yeah.
he was going to touch Heineke down, and he was going fast, and Heineke had given himself up, sure. He goes in hands first, and Heineke leans his freaking head into him, which
Yeah.
that's Bush League. I think that's Bush League from
Wake
Heineke.
up looked more like he has fell as well. So as a defender, you're just like, okay, well, I got to tighten down because a quarterback can get back up if they just fall.
Right. Yeah, and the play wasn't whistled dead, and
No,
that's like they whistled it dead as he was falling. So everyone on the broadcast was saying, "Oh, but that's the correct call." I don't even think it was. He was
I don't think
touching
it
him
was.
down like that. I don't even
Yeah.
think that's the right interpretation of the rule. So that's how the Eagles lost because they were getting the ball back. I think they have a shot to at least go tie it. They would have had decent field position. I mean, they probably would have had to go 40, 50 yards to get into field goal range at least and tie the game. I think they should still be undefeated, but I think maybe getting the loss out of the way is going to be good for the Eagles down the stretch because maybe that pressure won't mount as much. But
Yeah.
I just hated that call. I thought it sucked.
Agreed.
Next we have the Vikings at 8-1, Seahawks at 6-4. Yep. We're 3 wins away, evidently. I still haven't gone back to check.
I can promise you.
We'll do this every week. I'm not going back to
I'm
check.
so done with it.
The Bucks are leading the South at 5-5. Those are your division leaders, and then in playoff spots, the Giants are 7-2, the Cowboys are 6-3, and the 49ers are 5-4. Outside looking in, you've got the Commanders, Packers, Falcons, Cardinals, Lions, Rams, Panthers, Saints, Bears down in the last spot, which crazy enough.
It does not feel like the Bears should be last, man.
No, and I've watched a lot of Bears games. They've lost 2 games. I mean, they lost to the Dolphins, who are one of the better teams in the NFL by just they couldn't score on the final possession, and then they lost the same way to the Lions because their defense was terrible.
I mean, if we're
And
looking at the same thing, other side, Raiders have given up like 3 17-point leads. Browns have given up like 2 games
Sure.
they easily should have won, if not 3. You know,
Mhm.
it's NFL football, man. It happens.
Yep, any given Sunday, right? And that's the beauty of it. In terms of that 7 spot, I kind of think that the NFC playoffs are already written outside of who wins the West.
Yeah.
Because I think the 7 teams that are in playoff spots are gonna make the playoffs. I don't know. I guess I'd maybe the Packers can build off of what they just did. They still haven't played well though. And they
Yeah.
needed a 3 touchdown performance from a rookie receiver to make it happen. I don't know if it's sustainable. And then outside of that, I really don't feel maybe the
I mean,
Falcons over the Bucks, but
no, I
I
think
doubt it.
Commanders, Packers, and Cardinals are still have breathing room to
Sure.
like get it. They're not completely out. The Falcons are, outside looking in. The Packer or the Buccaneers are starting to get on track a bit. Uh,
Yeah. Now that they
and
went to
it's
their good
coming off a
running
bye,
back.
hopefully a bit more healthy on defense, which has really killed them.
Yeah.
Also, the offensive line, but if they can just at this point, it's just maintaining the lead of the division, which I think they can. That'll probably knock the Falcons completely out. Lions, I want more for them, but they're not doing it. Rams, I think we could pretty much check them off. Panthers, I think we could check off. Saints, I think we could check off. Bears, I think we could check off. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
so
with just how good the Vikings have been, I don't see a world in which the Bears push for the 7 seed. Although, again, they're a few plays away from being like a 5-5 team, which then we'd have a different perception of them. So
yeah, of course, but at this point, you pretty much need at least 7 wins to get into the playoffs. And when you already have 2 teams at 5 wins and 3 teams at 4 wins, it's
yeah,
just gonna be tough.
yeah, it's probably going to be more like 9 wins. Probably will get you in, I think. close to it, eight probably. We'll see. Yeah, and then the draft order. We'll just go over the top 10 here. Texans, Raiders, Panthers, Eagles from New Orleans, which is insane. Jaguars, Bears, Seahawks, Lions, Texans from Cleveland, Steelers. Oh, all of these picks. So Seahawks are from Denver, Lions are from the Rams, Texans are from Cleveland, and then the Steelers have their own pick. I guess my main takeaway is that there are a lot of rumblings that Derek Carr will be gone. So if the Raiders hold a top 2 selection, I do believe that they will take a quarterback at this point. If they fall outside of the top 2, I don't think they'll trade up to get a quarterback. I think they're just going to go a different veteran, maybe.
I'm not sold on Carr being out, but we'll see on that. And looking at this board, like, would I be shocked if the Raiders trade back with the Lions here? For
they should
8 and 11, and maybe another. Probably not another pick, but 8 and 11, and maybe a 4th or something for 2, and then you can get an offensive lineman and defensive help.
Yeah, it'd be smart.
It's not a bad trade, and those picks could obviously move up as well. Maybe it's less realistic then, but we'll see. But again, of those top 3 teams, the Raiders are by far the best, which sucks. Yeah, but it's just how it is.
I agree. The Texans are going to take a quarterback. So if you're in Dynasty, get out of your Davis Mills shares as quickly as possible and try to get whatever value. It's find the believer in your league, I think. I think Davis Mills is fine. I just don't. And maybe he wins the competition against a rookie and starts for a few weeks. But his value is pretty shot right now, I think.
Yep.
And then we'll get into draft talk in the future, but that's kind of, I'm excited to talk through the NFL draft once we get there. A lot of teams with multiple first-round picks this year. That's going to be fun as well. So.
Yep, and only 31 first-round picks.
Yeah, forfeited Dolphins pick currently because they're cheaters, and they do a lot of other stuff too. All right, let's get into the Week 11 preview. This week we have bye weeks from the Florida teams and the Seahawks. So the Buccaneers, the Dolphins, and the Jaguars are all on bye, and then the Seahawks are as well. Our Thursday night football game is actually a pretty competitive game. The 6-3 Titans against the 4-6 Packers. Packers are 3-point favorites in this game, and the over/under is 41. No main injuries to discuss, I don't believe, because Randall Cobb has been designated to return, so the Packers are going to get some much-needed wide receiver help. Ryan Tannehill was back. He left the game for like a snap, and Malik Willis fumbled his only snap last week. That poor kid, I just don't think he's an NFL player in a few years. He's a fine backup, but really, I don't know what his future is. Derrick Henry didn't have a massive game. Nick Westbrook-Ikine, 5 catches for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns. That was kind of what I expected heading into the year. I covered them for Football Guys this year, and he was dominating training camp. And now that Tannehill's back, maybe this passing attack can get going, and I think he'll be a pretty big part of it. Decent waiver addition, honestly. I that probably wasn't a popular name, and it's probably not one you were even thinking of, but I wouldn't mind tossing him on the end of my bench if I had an extra slot. Then on the other side of things, the Packers pulled one out against the Cowboys. Aaron Rodgers, pedestrian but efficient, 14 of 20, 224 yards and 3 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, this was an Aaron Jones game, despite the fact that he was injured all week. And then they said, "Oh, you're fine. Here's 26 touches and just 1 touchdown." But A.J. Dillon looked good too. The Packers offensive line looked a lot better in this game. So how do you think this one's going to shake out? What are you thinking on these two teams?
It's a bad matchup for the Packers just because they're really a pretty porous run defense. And, we know what Derrick Henry's going to do. So they're going to feed him the ball. Even if you're stacking the box, I think the return of Tannehill obviously is clearly adding that depth to this team, and return of Treylon Burks as well helps out Westbrook-Ikine, helps out everyone. So I do think I'm going to take the Titans here. I don't trust the Packers even with last week, so I'm going to take the Titans in a slow, grind out, Henry dominant game, and Mm, I'll take the over. I really don't want to. I'll take the under. Like, I
It's
don't
it,
want to take the over, but it's just one of those games where I think it squeaks over, but I'll take the under.
it's a good line, I think. I'm gonna also take the Titans in this one. I think your analysis of what's gonna happen is right. I do think that this Titans defense is playing pretty remarkably right now.
Well, and I believe they're the best run defense in football, which means Rodgers going to have to win this game, and we haven't seen that this year.
Correct. I will say I think Aaron Jones gets pretty involved in the passing game. I think he's a fine start. I put AJ Dillon right back on your bench.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be tempted by the 65 yards. Um, but yeah, I'll take the Titans. I'll take the under though. I think you're right. Slow grind out. Typical Thursday night football. Plus, I'm pretty sure it's pretty cold up in Wisconsin right now.
Yeah, it's fucking cold.
Yep. I knew you could confirm.
And Watson, Christian Watson, that is,
Mhm.
4 for 8, 107, 3 touchdowns. Don't expect that. I think that's a little bit of a, MVS blow up situation. But
I mean,
for what it's worth, when he's been in the game and healthy, he has been targeted on big plays. He
mhm.
does drop a lot of them,
He
but he
does.
has been targeted. So I think from that, I'm willing to gather that he was clearly the plan of this passing attack going into the year, and his hamstring injuries and concussions have just derailed this whole start of his career. So I'm not out on Watson. Definitely, it's the whole thing, and I think he was a really good pickup this week as well. Because I wouldn't play him, but I think that's a phenomenal stash. Because if we can continue to see that trend, that's a great end of your bench guy to flex in, possibly if you need a big blow up game in the playoffs.
Who would you rather have in Dynasty now, Christian Watson or Traylon Burks?
Christian Watson.
I'm
It's not,
close.
and I don't even think Rodgers is back.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the style of the offenses. I think it
Yeah.
has to be him because Traylon Burks isn't AJ Brown,
No.
even though they want him to be. So
I'll never forget the night I watched the AJ Brown college film to feel better about Traylon Burks, and I came away feeling way worse. I was like, "Oh
yeah,
yeah, he's not that, not even close." So, yeah, this should be a good game though. I'm excited for this one,
yeah, one of the better Thursday night matchups.
for sure. All right, next one: Jets 6-3 Jets heading to New England to play the Patriots, who are 5-4. Patriots are 3-point home favorites in this one, and the over/under is actually lower than the Thursday night game at 38.5. Both teams are coming off a bye, which I think adds a little wrinkle here. Um, it, this division is full of really really good football teams, and while I don't think the Patriots are technically a really really good football team, and I don't necessarily think that the Jets are quite there yet. Both teams have an opportunity to kind of establish themselves as that in this game. Um, they played a few weeks ago. The Patriots pulled it out. Zach Wilson threw 3 picks. It wasn't good. That is a reason why we need to see that growth. This is his redemption. This is his beer pong redemption shot. And I don't know if he has it in him.
I
Where do you see this going?
Listen. Both teams coming off a bye. If I'm picking one of these coaches to be the best
Exactly.
prepared off the bye, I don't care how much we like Robert Saleh. It's Bill Belichick, and
Yep.
him off a bye is deadly, especially against a bad quarterback. He's, it is the Jets against Patriots. I think he's going to be seeing some ghosts, and I'm expecting at least 2 picks in a Patriots win.
I'm gonna call four picks, so 7
At
total.
least 2, man. Let's try to be nice.
I know. I'll be mean. I'm down for it.
I'll also take the under slightly. These two teams played earlier. I think it was like October 30th, roughly, like that week, maybe the week
Mhm.
before. I think it was like 22-17, so it just hit this over. I think it's under this week.
I will take the Patriots in the over because I think Bill is going to pile it on. I also feel like this could be a Mac Jones get right game where they say,
Yeah.
"Oh, Sauce, you're over there. We're going to throw it over here instead." I don't think he'll be
Jacoby
targeting
Myers.
Sauce.
Jacoby Myers.
Yep,
Play.
yep, and Ramondre Stevenson for what it's. I think he's going to have a massive day.
Yes, Jets are a decent run defense, though. So it's
Yeah, but those stupid little Texas routes that they've been running with Ramondre, I think they're gonna keep that in the
yeah,
offense.
probably.
I think he'll probably have like 80 receiving yards. Is what well, yeah, if I did my stat projections for this week, that's what I would
And
have.
I believe him and Harris had a kind of pedestrian day on the ground against the Jets the last matchup, but Ramondre had like an 8-catch game. So
Yep. Yeah. I see it coming again. All right. Next one. Browns, 3-6 Browns heading to a massive snowstorm in Buffalo to face the 6-3 Bills. Bills are 8.5-point favorites in this one, and the over/under is 43. You may have seen Deshaun Watson news. He's back at practice, but he is not eligible to come back until 2 weeks, two
week
more
13.
Yes, 2 more football games. So this week and then next week against the Bucks, and then Deshaun Watson will be back. The Browns got absolutely blasted this week for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Just outclassed. Go ahead.
So quickly going over the blizzard, there's talks of like 3 to 6 feet of
Yes.
snow. Like
They're talking potentially about moving the game.
yeah,
I don't know if you saw that.
I don't know where.
I think isn't Indy on the road. I think they may have. Oh no,
Yes,
they're
they
at
are.
home.
Oh yeah, they're home.
Yeah, I don't know what they proposed, but essentially it was putting them in a dome somewhere. But I just don't know how.
I don't want to see that.
I don't either. I want to see the 6
want the
feet.
blizzard game. I
Me
want
too.
this 7-6 bullshit that we got last year with the Bills Patriots.
Yep.
But worse.
Yeah.
I want to see Nick Chubb break a human because it's freezing. And he just murders.
Yeah.
I'm very excited if they don't move this game. If they do move it, I won't watch it. The Bills will murder us.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's the point. Is if it is a blizzard game, I think that plays into the Browns' favor because I think now the other side of this is the Bills' defensive line has been really, really good, and I don't know how well the Browns are going to be able to run the football in this game. But I also feel like a lot of what that defensive line has been doing is just a very good pass rush, and so I don't know how much they'll have to do it if we're in a blizzard. I do think the Devin Singletary success last week, he scored 2 touchdowns, 47 yards on just 13 carries. But I think if we get that type of game, I 100% expect a massive day from Devin Singletary because every team is running all over the Browns. The Browns don't know how to run fit whatsoever. The whole scheme is messed up. All the players suck. It's really bad news on the Browns defense. That said, I'm going to take the Browns to cover, and I'm taking the under for sure.
Yeah, I'll take Browns to at least cover and the under, especially in the snowstorm. I might take Browns to win the snowstorm.
It'd be close.
It's good. We know it's gonna be close.
Here's the thing: if it's a snowstorm, I don't expect Josh Allen to play. I think they'd hold him out, and so that's another wrinkle to this. I know I haven't really seen that, but I think that introduces a different dynamic. So. I'll take the Browns to cover, though.
Yep.
I think they probably lose. Next one, Bears, 3-7 Bears heading to Atlanta to take on the Falcons, who are 4-6. The Falcons are only 3-point favorites in this game. The over/under is 50, which feels low considering the Bears are averaging over 30 points a game over the last 4 weeks. Themselves and the Falcons, outside of last week, do a pretty good job on offense. Khalil Herbert is the injury news. He was placed on IR. He'll be out a minimum of 4 weeks. He has a hip injury. Justin Fields is doing his thing. He's the last 5 weeks, he's the quarterback 1 overall. 12 of 20, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a stupid pick that really cost him the game, if we're being completely honest. But he bounced back right after with a 67-yard run, I believe. A 67-yard touchdown run on a keeper. 13 carries, 147 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The kid is awesome. Just a remarkable. He won the FedEx Ground Player of the Week. That goes to running backs every week, except sometimes Lamar Jackson. But he's remarkable. He is the future. They need to obviously get the passing game going, but Cole Kmet, he caught a 50-yard touchdown. He scored 2 touchdowns. Cole Kmet is a definite play. I said a couple weeks ago, I don't want to ride the Cole Kmet train yet. I do now. Hey, he's the red zone favorite, and they are definitely scheming him up a lot. Obviously, the connection hasn't been massive, but yeah. And then Darnell Mooney's the other guy. I think Chase Claypool is just slowly working into this offense, and I don't know if he'll be a factor even in the rest of the fantasy season. Maybe by the playoffs, but I wouldn't hold him if you still have him.
Yeah. Falcons are susceptible to big plays through the year as well, so this could be a really good Mooney start week. But just to take out my start of the week is actually David Montgomery, just because I love saying that. But with Hill out, or Khalil Herbert out, sorry, there's really just no stopping him here. I'm expecting the playoff push run for fantasy that we had last year and the year before from David Montgomery. And I think a lot of teams are going to be either finishing off their seeding in the playoffs because of David Montgomery or pushing their way into it. I think he absolutely dominates as long as Fields doesn't take too many touchdowns from him. But I still think he gets, at least close to 100 yards on the ground and 4 catches or so through the air. And if he gets in the end zone, he's going to be an easy RB2, if not RB1 this week.
Yeah. No, I like that shout. On the other side, are we going to see Desmond Ridder in this game at all? Probably not, right?
I don't know, man.
Feels like no. Based on Arthur Smith. Bad. He's bad. Arthur Smith confirmed, he said, there's never been a quarterback situation. Okay, man. Well, you should probably rethink that because Marcus Mariota is not good. He's literally just chucking balls up backwards. Like, it's insane what they're letting him do. Not a good quarterback. I know he's been efficient, but that's Arthur Smith. He calls a good offense. I'm taking the Bears in this game. I think they win the football game, and I'm taking the over because I don't think the Falcons have the tools to stop Justin Fields on the ground or in the air. Or through the air, in the air too, I guess. AJ Terrell probably is back though. So I guess that might factor in, but I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I'll take the Bears in the over as well.
Sweet. Next one, 4-5 Commanders, 3.5-point favorites against the Texans, who are 1-7-1. Over-under in this one is 40.5. The Commanders, we talked about this game. The Commanders pulled out a win against the Eagles. They played really, really well in the first half. They came back down to earth in the second half, and then obviously the final play of the game, they were kind of bailed out, or almost the final play of the game, I guess. They had to run it off the clock, but so they stole one. They're a good football team. Are they 4-5? I thought they were 5-5.
5-5.
5-5. Yeah. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Both running backs had good fantasy days. Brian Robinson, not efficient at all. 26 carries, 86 yards, and a touchdown. That's what Brian Robinson is, though. He's definitely going to be a guy that needs volume. Antonio Gibson, on the other hand, 14 carries, 44 yards. Also not efficient. Touchdown, but then 3 catches for 14 yards. That helped his fantasy day.
He also was a little banged up with an ankle injury during this game, Gibson. Yeah. But he wasn't really on like the injury report necessarily for it. So like I just didn't include it. But it did give Robinson a bit more workload that week. And for what it's worth, teams run on the Texans. So I think it's safe to play both this week.
I agree with that. I also think it's safe to play Terry McLaurin. The Texans don't really know how to use Derek Stingley, which is problematic. They're tossing him in cover 3 all the time, cover 4, tossing him in zone. You have a freaking man press corner and one of the better ones that you drafted in the top 3. What are you doing? Stop doing it. Stop ruining this kid's career. It's not ruining his career. He's still been good.
Just let him be on an island every play.
Literally.
Is he just hurt once in a while? Yeah. Don't care.
For sure. Every corner does, except Sauce Gardner, who's apparently the best corner to ever live, because he's been remarkable this year.
But if you let Stingley just do press man, they're going to avoid throwing over there because there's going to be zone everywhere else. It's going to be more open. It just works out beneficial for everyone. Yeah. It just doesn't make sense what they're doing.
Or at least play like a press pass off type of switching situation where he can press the line of scrimmage, knock people off their routes, knock off the time. It's very simple. Whatever. But Terry McLaurin's a fine start. On the other side of things, Dameon Pierce, 17 carries, 94 yards, bad fumble, costly fumble. Davis Mills, again, we talked about him, fine. 22 of 37, 319 yards, a touchdown and a pick. He's fine. Brandon Cooks didn't practice today. I think it's going to be the Nico Collins show. So that's probably not good news for the Texans. I don't know. He's been fine too, but not super reliable. I don't care about this game at all.
No, Commanders.
The only thing I care about, so the other thing, Wentz can come back this week. Do you think they turn it over to him?
They've already, Ron Rivera said it's Heineke.
Okay, I didn't see that today. That's smart. Good for them. So I'm taking the Commanders, and I'm taking the under in this game.
Easy.
Yeah. All right, next one. The 8-1 Colts are 6.5-point favorites, or 8-1 Eagles are 6.5-point favorites against the 4-5-1 Colts. The over-under is 44.5. We talked about the Eagles. I don't need to harp on about what happened in this game, other than Dallas Goedert is hurt on the IR, actually. So on a face mask that didn't get called, by the way. There were a lot of things that happened in this game that I didn't love it. I'm not an Eagles fan, and I was like, okay, this is pretty ridiculous. So a lot of games have been like that this year, though. Devontae Smith had a fine game, 6 catches, 39 yards, and a touchdown. The 39 yards, actually, he had 52 yards. He lost 13 yards off of pass back on the final play of the game that resulted in the touchdown, which sucks. It probably lost a lot of people fantasy matchups.
Well, yeah. So, because he lost the 13 yards and got -2 for a fumble.
Oh, yeah.
So
I didn't even realize that.
His day was complete. It was, good day. Oh, shit. So, pretty good day. 6 for 52 to touchdown,
Yeah,
and he struggled this year with he's had a couple good games, but he struggled. So, having a game of, what was that, probably like 17, is pretty solid that it drops all the way down.
Yeah. It definitely helped that A.J. Brown hurt himself on the first play of the game. I believe first play of the game. Either way, he caught the football first. Shout out A.J. Brown. Then he came back. He played, but he wasn't himself, clearly. On the other side of things, the Colts said Sam Ehlinger was their quarterback all week. Then they trotted out Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan looked better than he has in a long time. Shout out Jeff Saturday. I know he got a lot of crap. You praised him and said, this kind of speaks to how RSA views Saturday. He looked the part, honestly. Like, I expected him to look lost out there. He looked the part. I think it was a really easy welcoming into the NFL against the Raiders. I think
damn it.
Someone made a joke recently that you should just judge every new coach by could they beat this Raiders team. And Jeff Saturday passed that test.
And for what it's worth, the offense actually looks productive. Yep. I know Saturday wasn't necessarily calling plays, but who cares?
He put the game plan together throughout the week, though. So I think that matters too. And what the game plan was is, hey, we're going to give the ball to Jonathan Taylor 22 times, and he's going to run for 147 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, 24 times. And that really helps the passing game. And I think Jeff Saturday might have understood that going into this game. Paris Campbell has been legit with Matt Ryan. That is a waiver pickup if he was still out there. And if he's still out there after waivers are run, I would suggest go snagging Paris Campbell. I think that he's going to stick around, especially with Matt Ryan and the absence of Nyheim Hines. In this game, though, I am taking Sirianni to beat his old team and cover. Yeah, they're going to win by more than a touchdown. And I'm going to take the over. I think a lot of points are scored.
Yeah, sorry. I'll take the Eagles and the points and over. The Colts are susceptible to big plays. And if A.J. Brown is fine, which all signs point to he will be for this Sunday, I expect possibly another 3-touchdown game.
Yeah, that sounds about right. All right, next one. Lions 3-6 against the New York Giants. 7-2 New York Giants. There are only 3-point favorites at home. Over-under is 46 in this game. no major injuries. The one thing I want to discuss pretty extensively here is what is happening with DeAndre Swift. He played a little bit more this week. They're obviously easing him back from his injury. I think they know that they're not, competing this year, and that's why they're being safe. But they've talked about how they've lacked explosives on offense outside of the one like pretty broken play that the Bears let up last week. And then they didn't get DeAndre Swift involved in this game. He got stuffed at the goal line. I think that mattered and impacted his playing time a little bit. But strange reason to keep your best offensive weapon, second best offensive weapon outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown off the field. I say all this, I guess I'll just lean into it. He's my start this week, DeAndre Swift. I think it's a squeaky wheel situation. I think he's getting frustrated with his playing time. I think you can make an argument that even if he plays, this isn't the best matchup for him against the Giants because they've been pretty good on defense. But I think that he's going to get involved in the passing game because they've kind of found a rhythm with Jamal Williams to where they don't need to use Swift between the tackles, but working the outside zone stuff, I think that Swift gets more involved, gets in the end zone, has a good fantasy day again.
Yeah, and about the slow start, coming back, he got like 9 touches his first week back, and on that 9 touch, he seemed to reaggravate his injury. So since then, which was I think that was 3 weeks ago, so the last 2 weeks they're like, okay, you're gonna get like 6 touches this week, and then last week they gave him like 12, and I think he gets back or close to full go this week. And if he is, he's going to be used a ton. I'll tell you what, if they're in the red zone, they're running the fucking Texas route to him because it's their favorite play in the red zone, and it works every time. And he's a good receiving back, and he can make one guy miss easy at that point. So I do think Swift has a good day. I don't think it's what we saw early in the year. I don't think he's got that explosion fully back yet. I just haven't seen it at least.
That's fair.
But if he gets that back, if he's back with full juice this week, he should have a decent day at least to be almost a lock at RB2 because I'll give the Giants credit. Like their run defense is decent enough, especially at the D tackle level. So we'll see on that. But he shouldn't be running in between the tackles anyways necessarily. So
there's no reason. Jamal Williams has been good. 16 carries, 59 yards on a touchdown in this game where they were throwing the ball a lot. I mean, it's Amon-Ra had a great game. On the other side of things, Saquon Barkley, 35 carries, 36 touches total, 160 yards and a touchdown when you combine his stats. Pretty insane what they're letting Saquon do. This is the Saquon that we knew was in there. We're a few years removed from seeing this Saquon, but like I'm excited. This Saquon is still a dynasty, like a top 3 dynasty back. And I think he's like 25, 26 years old. Like, let's ride for the next 3 to 4 years. I think they're going to extend him before they extend Daniel Jones, which I think is hilarious.
They should. I think so too.
They should. Who wins this game?
I gotta pick the Giants and the over. I don't want to, but
I kind of feel like the Lions have enough offense to combat some of the things that the Giants are going to do.
It's not like the Giants put up a ton of points most weeks, so like I think the Lions can do it. It's just I can't trust them to sustain it at this point.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Lions. I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the Lions.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next one, Panthers. 3-7 Panthers heading to Baltimore to face off against the 6-3 Ravens. This game sucks. The Ravens are 12-point favorites, and the over-under is 43. The Panthers had a good day. However, Baker Mayfield is starting against the Ravens this week. So everything that happened last week, you can kind of throw it out. I think they're going to hand the ball off to D'Onta Foreman 100 times because we have a pretty large sample size of what Baker Mayfield does against the Ravens. It's never really that good in his career. It's not ideal that he didn't get to start the Cincinnati game and he does get to start the Baltimore game. I don't have much analysis on the Panthers other than don't start DJ Moore this week. He's not my sit. but actually, no, he is my sit. I'm pivoting to it. Don't start DJ Moore. We know what he's been with Baker Mayfield this year, and risking it based on what PJ Walker was able to do, I think people are going to be tempted because DJ Moore has been fine. I don't trust it whatsoever. So sit DJ Moore.
Yeah. On the other side, Ravens coming off a bye. Hopefully they get Gus Edwards and Mark Andrews back. We're not fully sure on either of them, unfortunately, yet. Besides that, like the Panthers, they controlled the Falcons running attack last week, which is basically all the Falcons can do. Like I'm not expecting a huge day here from the Ravens running attack necessarily, but I do think they win pretty easily, and I'll take them and the points and the over. Well, and the under.
Yep, Ravens in the under here. I don't know how many points the Panthers are going to be able to put up. I will say, exactly. Baker. The last time we saw Baker, he was good. He was accurate. He looked more locked in. I don't think we get that version this week, though. I don't know.
Yeah, and there's a chance the Ravens get more pass rushers back this week, which is just terrible for them.
Yeah, I think that's where the Panthers were able to control their offensive side of the ball. Was the Falcons don't have many guys getting into the backfield. The Ravens have like 8 if everyone's healthy. So
yeah.
Ravens and under. Next one, Los Angeles Rams heading to New Orleans to face off against the Saints. These two teams have combined for 6 wins and 13 losses this year. Not ideal. Saints are 4.5-point favorites. The over-under is 38.5. Cooper Kupp went on the IR. He's having ankle surgery. I don't know if, they said that they don't.
He's done.
Yeah, they said they don't think he'll miss the whole season, but also the Rams are not good, and having him come back would be silly. So, Cooper Kupp is now done for fantasy, which sucks. He was the wide receiver 3 in points per game, and if you take away the game he got injured last week, he was still the wide receiver 1 in points per game, which is pretty crazy to think about when Tyreek Hill exists and Justin Jefferson exists, and just a ton of great receivers at the top. Matthew Stafford should be back in this game. He was in concussion protocol, although they did suggest when he first went into the protocol that it was not good, but he was a game time decision. So that kind of indicates that maybe he's progressing through the protocol. Should be back in this one. Talk about your sit, man. Like that's who I want to talk about is the people not to play.
Okay, so sit Allen Robinson for me. He really wasn't getting snaps more than a hit or miss until Kupp got hurt, and then he came in and was 4 for 44. I think people are going to be excited to play him as they gotta throw to him now. Nope, they're gonna throw to guess what, the other white slot guy, and I don't think this offense is good. I think Higbee will probably be the leading receiver for the rest of the way. With Ben Skowronek, thank you. And I think Allen Robinson will be on a new team next year. I don't know why they brought him in. He clearly isn't a fit for this offense. It makes no sense. So no. I could just please don't play him because now Cooper Kupp's hurt, so he has to be used. He literally wasn't getting snaps. Like he was rotating in before Kupp got hurt. He's not going to now become the focal point of this offense.
The offense sucks.
Yes. This line sucks. They can't run the ball. Stafford sucked all year. I think the elbow injury was a lot worse than people let on, which is what we talked about preseason. That we were nervous about that because they wouldn't talk about it. They just said he's fine, which I clearly not. And it's just not working out, man. I mean, he could dink and dunk the Kupp. Yeah, that's fine. But other than that, he couldn't move the ball downfield, and this offense suffered. They can't run the ball with this line. So, sit him. I mean, we could talk about the Saints side, but they suck too. They're keeping Andy Dalton. He's terrible. Apparently, they don't want to see interceptions and sacks from Jameis, but they want to see it from Andy Dalton. It's stupid. It makes no sense. I thoroughly hate this game. I'll take the Saints in the under.
Same. Yeah, I don't have much. I think you're fine starting Alvin Kamara.
I
I
think
know
you're
he
fine
struggled last
starting
week.
Kamara and Olave, but
Yeah.
I think it would be better without Andy Dalton.
Oh yeah. Much significantly. Yeah, fine. Saints under. I don't care about that game either.
Yeah, not watching that.
No. Afternoon slate. So the 5-4 Bengals are heading to play the Steelers. They're 3-6. Over unders 41, and the Bengals are 4-point favorites in this game. Bengals are coming off a bye. They're also coming off 2 weeks ago the Joe Mixon performance of the year, where he had 4 touchdowns in the first half. This last week, the Steelers got a win against the Saints that we just talked about, and why that happened. This Steelers were not good. Kenny Pickett, 18 of 30, 199 yards, 51 yards rushing, and a touchdown. Big dual threat, Kenny Pickett. Najee Harris, 20 carries, 99 yards. He looked better. I will say, he looked more explosive in this game. It I don't know if it's sustainable. And then on the like Deontay Johnson, 4 catches, 63 yards. His value's done with Kenny Pickett. It's a bummer. Kenny Pickett sucks.
Yeah. The
So
Steelers defense is going to keep him around. I think it slows Joe Mixon, which the last time we saw this offense with a slow Joe Mixon, it was not good.
it's fair.
And if Minka plays this week, it's even worse.
Is Jamar Chase back yet?
So no, he has a chance to be back next week.
Okay.
According to them.
Okay. So what I think is going to happen in this game, I think it's a big Tyler Boyd game, because I do think that the Steelers will focus on Mixon and T. Higgins, and I think Joe Burrow's been playing really well for the last 8 weeks, really since that week 1 strange 4 interception performance, like one of the worst games he's played since he was
Against who?
I don't remember, man. That was week 1.
Steelers.
That's a bummer. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, but that was with Minka. Minka might play.
And TJ Watt, which shit.
Man, yeah, TJ Watt's back.
I'm sorry to damper on your parade, man. But this I'm going 17-13 Bengals, bro. This is a shit game.
So you'll call it a push then, 4-point favorites. And that'd be very much so the under. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Bengals to cut. Actually, I'm gonna take the Steelers to cover those points. I think the Bengals win by like 3 on maybe a game-winning field goal, and I can't wait until this happens and I can snip it. And it's gonna be 27-24, which is 41.
Over.
It's 41, so it'd be a push there, right? No, that'd be 51.
51.
51. Math. Yeah, so I'll take the over. Fine. Next game, that game kind of sucks too. Man, this week's slate is not ideal. This next game though,
good.
I like this game. Probably the game of the week. Probably on Fox. Cowboys 1.5-point favorites heading to the 8-1 Minnesota Vikings. Over under is 47.5. Dak had a pretty rough game this last week against the Packers. 27 of 46, 265 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, both the same guy. Strange interceptions. I don't know what he was looking at both times. And then Zeke didn't play in this game. He will be back this week. I think that matters a little bit. He should be back this week. I guess I can't guarantee that. Tony Pollard went ballistic again, though. 22 carries, 115 yards, and a touchdown, 3 catches for 13 yards. I wonder what Zeke's snap share looks like after Tony Pollard's last couple of weeks.
20 carries and 2 catches. It's Zeke.
Probably.
They've been pretty. And McCarthy's even said when he's back, he's getting his workload. So, it's basically if one back's by themselves, they're gonna have a good game. But if they're together, it's gonna lean towards Zeke, and you hope Pollard makes a breakaway play or something.
Yeah, I have to start both of them in some of my leagues, unfortunately. CeeDee Lamb went crazy last week, though, which was cool. 11 catches, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Best game of his career. Dalton Schultz is finally establishing himself. I think we could be looking at end of season run where he's a top 3 tight end again, because the landscape's pretty rough right now. Other side of things, the Vikings stole one from the Bills. We talked a little bit about that game, but probably not enough. The Bills really, really fumbled this game, literally.
Still probably game of the year so far, too.
For sure. There have been a lot of, there have been multiple 99% win probability games. This was a 98%, so technically wasn't even the one that was most over. But it was a great game. Vikings forced a fumble, kind of. It was a bad snap, and then they recovered it in the end zone, and then they played well and got the walk-off interception. Kirk Cousins was 30 of 50, though. So he's been pretty bad this year. They're winning kind of despite him. If he comes back into, even what he was last year, this team's a Super Bowl contender. I don't think they are right now.
Yeah, and I will say I don't remember what it was, but he was like really bad to start this, and then he like turned it on for a little while, and then it kind of averaged out near the end. But so he had a decent day. Like he's QB 11 on the year right now. I don't see him having anything better than a QB 15 week this week, so I don't think I'm playing him unless you don't have a better option. This Cowboys defense is good, so
yeah,
just play it. It's tough.
Justin Jefferson also had the catch of the century.
Yes,
I think
that one's no doubt.
Yeah. In terms of like stakes, like I still think David Tyrese is up there, like even more than Odell's. Like the helmet,
like David Tyrese it's great. It's a bit luck.
I would also argue that wasn't it Mario Manningham, the other like Super Bowl catch? That honestly, one was awesome too.
It's like I don't even, and that's not by it. Like I don't have them as like the top catches. Like in my head, the top like catches I ever seen. I think Odell's is like 4th. Yeah. I think Julio's in the Super Bowl. The sideline is 3rd. And ironically, same Super Bowl, I have, Edelman's double catch, which was ridiculous to keep the game alive. And then I think Jefferson this week, because that catch was ridiculous. He literally one-handed, falling away, stole it from 2 hands of the defender on 4th and 18 to keep the game alive. Like,
it was pretty. Lord. It was insane. Best receiver in football right now. I thought you were gonna push back on it and say Devontae.
It's close. I think Chase is right there. I think Devontae Adams is right there. But all around right now, it's Justin Jefferson. It's hard to you can't argue it.
Yeah, for sure. In this game, I'm gonna.
Sorry.
Yeah. He is. Jalen Waddle's up there too for what it's worth. Okay, I don't know who wins this game. It's kind of why we talked about that. I was trying to figure out who I was going to pick. I'm going to take the Cowboys to win on the road. I'm going to take the over.
You're taking Dak over Cousins. That's what you're taking Dak to screw up less.
Pretty much. Yeah, I think so. Where are you going?
I
don't know either. Yeah, this one's tough. It's a good game.
I'll take Vikings just to split this 50-50 over.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, this is a pick'em game. Like this is holy hell.
It is. I'm actually shocked the Cowboys are favored. I guess kind of. Next one, we can kind of speed through this one for your sake, Randy. The 2-7 Raiders are heading to Denver to take on the 3-6 Broncos. Broncos are 3-point favorites. The over/under is 41.5. Jerry Jeudy's out. He hurt his ankle.
He's day to day, which is not what we thought.
Yeah, it wasn't his Achilles, which was good. It was they called it a back of the foot injury, so that's weird. It was non-contact too, wasn't it? Like, or did he trip? It looked like he may have tripped over someone, but like, I don't know.
Either way, it was early, and then the offense suffered immensely.
Yeah. we have in here Raiders suck. Randy wrote the doc. I think that sums it up. I won't go over the stats. Josh Jacobs was good last week. 21 carries, 78 yards and a touchdown, 6 catches for 28 yards. Josh Jacobs looks like one of the top 5 running backs in the NFL this year for what it's worth. He was going to be my sit this week. He's not now, so play him. I don't know. Also, I'll give the reasoning behind my sit, but don't sit him, especially if you're debating between him and DJ Moore, which I actually have that dilemma in like 2 or 3 leagues. Josh Jacobs tore this team up last time. The Broncos have improved on defense. They have really honed in on running backs. I feel as though they will focus in on Josh Jacobs, and that would be the way they win this game is take Josh Jacobs out of it, make Derek Carr beat you. But play him. It's fine. I think the volume's still going to be there, and I think the Raiders move the ball enough that Josh Jacobs does find the end zone, which is why I was scared to put it in there anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if Josh Jacobs finds the end zone, we know that track record. Which it didn't work this last week.
I was just going to say, we don't know what that.
It's a pretty good track record. It's like 85% win percentage.
It used to be 100.
I know. I mean, really, this game, the only thing to really watch for me is Adams versus Surtain. It's just gonna be a fun matchup and see what happens there. I'll probably be watching this game with Sweet just like we did the last time, and that was a fun thing. So hopefully it maintains there. But both these teams suck. They just do. They've underperformed immensely, and it's been really disappointing. As a fan and hanging out with the fan of the other team every week, we both hate it. We both know we suck in this game. I don't think I'll say that the Broncos defense is better than it was when they played, just because of Bradley Chubb being gone.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do think that's a massive downgrade for them for this year. And it's just tough. I really don't like. Do you play Gordon? I think you play Dulcich. I'm confident in that. I think you have to play Sutton now if Judy's out, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I think that's it though. Russell Wilson's been really bad, guys. That first play of the game, I think he missed a dig to Judy. It's where his eyes should have been. His eyes are all over the place. They always were in Seattle. They masked it. This Broncos offense can't really mask it. So, I'm taking. I'll take the Broncos. I'm sorry, and the under. You can say they tie. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett did say someone has to win this game.
Tie. Fuck it. Tie.
I like it. I'm actually in on that. I'm
I
in
hate
on
everything about this tie.
Yeah, I think it should be a tie. I think that would, sum up both of their seasons.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Sunday Night Football is a pretty good game.
This was flexed into here.
Yeah, little crazy though. Like they took the Bengals Steelers game out. Yeah, I did say this game sucks, and I said this one's pretty good. So maybe that's how they viewed it as well. 7-2 Chiefs, 6.5 point favorites heading to Los Angeles to face off against the 5-4 Chargers. The over/under is 50.5. Juju has a concussion. It was bad, really bad. I doubt he's going to pass the concussion protocol this week. Maybe he does. We've seen it happen before. Who knows? Gerald Everett has a groin injury. The Chargers might be getting Mike Williams and Keenan Allen back. It sounds more likely that Keenan Allen is back and not Mike Williams. I wouldn't bank on it, though.
I think neither's back. I just think they're at practice this week. Yeah. I don't think either's back this week.
That's fair. I did see Mike Williams was doing some heavy stretching before last week. It's crazy to me that Keenan Allen's not back. I think we could be looking at the end of his career. Can he bounce back from an injury-ridden year? He's 30. I don't know. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know. The Chiefs are still very good, by the way, guys. Probably the best team in football still. Pat Mahomes, 26 of 35, 331 yards, 4 touchdowns and a pick, 39 yards on the ground. Isaiah Pacheco looked pretty good this last week. He's finally, fitting into the offense a little bit better. I think he had a pretty bad fumble in this one. Maybe that was 2 weeks. No, that was this week. He had that fumble. Travis Kelce. Yeah, he's fumbling a lot. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 0 touches, I believe. So Drop him?
No, he dropped him. Yeah.
Yeah. But also drop him in fantasy. Yeah,
Let's
I
move
don't know.
on.
Yeah.
It makes
Travis
no
Kel-
sense, but just yeah.
I know. Neither Ronald Jones not getting on the field for what it's worth. But whatever. Travis Kelce had a modest day, 6 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown. It was super modest.
Modest 20 points.
Yeah. Kadarius Toney had a good day. Went up and got a nice catch along the sideline, scored a touchdown. Came with the Juju concussion. I think when Juju's back, Toney sees a decreased role. Other side of things, Chargers offense still sucks. The most disappointing thing has been how the Chargers have called plays this year. We talked about the pickleball example and how they're playing on this small, tiny little court when they don't need to. They've got a really good tennis player back there that can hit the shit out of the ball, and they're just not doing it. So I think the Chiefs are going to win by a lot in this game.
Honestly, man, at this point they're playing ping pong. Like I don't even give them the respect of.
It's literally like the whole field is condensed into like you can see it on your screen. You shouldn't be able to see every receiver on your screen. We've seen this with Matt Nagy and the Bears last year, and you know what happened to him? He looks like a fool right now because of Justin Fields. So, I think the Chiefs win by 2 touchdowns in this game. Unfortunately, I do think we hit the over. I think Justin Herbert can put up some points, carry the team like he has kind of been having to do all year, despite the injury. So,
Agreed.
Where are you going?
I'm going to take the Chiefs. I'll take the Chargers to cover and the over, but Chiefs to win.
Okay. So a close game, fun game, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think the Chargers play up the competition a bit, and if they get either of those receivers back, it's even better. But we'll see.
That's fair. Monday Night Football this week, 49ers against the Cardinals. 49ers are 8-point favorites on the road. Over-under is 43.5. Zach Ertz is out for the season. We're going to see a little bit more Trey McBride, but the answer could also be Marquise Brown, who has also been designated to return from the IR. And so this offense could go back. Before they had Zach Ertz, they didn't involve the tight end at all. They involved 3 receivers, and Rondale Moore has kind of established himself as a piece in this offense. DeAndre Hopkins is him, and then Marquise Brown was outstanding at the beginning of the season, even with Rondale Moore on the field. So I think maybe that's the answer. On the other side of things, what's up?
Before that, Kyler's playing COD 100%.
He is,
and there's also
sure.
talk that he may be out again this week.
Yeah, well, he's got to focus on Call of Duty. Of course. Of course,
I don't know why. It's an
Warzone 2 comes out soon. I heard. I don't know. I don't play Warzone.
It's
today.
Out. Yeah,
sick.
I played it today.
Oh, fun.
Not the biggest COD guy. So
yeah, me neither. On the other side of things, everyone's like pissed off that Elijah Mitchell came back and looked like the fantastic fucking running back that he is. And so he 18 carries, 89 yards, broke like every first tackle attempt. He looked dominant, and everyone's saying, why would they trade for Christian McCaffrey if they weren't going to use him? Hey, man, Christian McCaffrey got hurt when he got used all the time. This is so smart. And he still touched the ball 18 times. They split the touches between the two of them. So that is the right way to use McCaffrey. I would argue 14 carries is too many. Give Elijah Mitchell 20 carries and give Christian McCaffrey 6 to 7 catches. That is the proper way to do it. And honestly, they were successful. That offense is going to look like the 49ers Super Bowl team here soon, I think. When Debo kind of gets going again, Brandon Ayuk looks fantastic this year. 6 catches, 84 yards. Other than that end zone drop that I saw cost a lot of people a lot of money. But the route was insane. So I'm taking the 49ers comfortably here, especially if it's Colt McCoy again.
Yeah, if it's Colt McCoy, it's not even a question. It's the points and the over. It'd be close. This is a tough one though. Because if you have Kyler, like I don't know who your third quarterback is. I think you just play the third quarterback. I don't think unless you have some really good news with Kyler on Sunday morning, I'm not risking it
Hmm.
because I'm not picking up Colt McCoy and playing him over. I I mean, who would be a third? Geno Smith. Like I'm playing Geno Smith.
For sure. Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I actually had to do that, and I picked
Are
Walford
they unbuying?
over. Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Hmm.
So you wouldn't be playing Gino,
Still
but
same. I
yeah,
play Jimmy G. Like if I had to.
for sure.
Derek
Yeah.
Carr. I mean, I play Kirk Cousins over Kyler this week.
Yeah. And you said that his ceiling is pretty much like QB 15. So I think that's
Yeah.
worth noting that you not assume the risk of Kyler not playing. I risked it last week and had to play John Walford, and I won still, but wasn't ideal. Was not ideal.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll do it for the Week 11 preview of The Cut. We hope that you'll join us next Wednesday. We'll do this every Wednesday. As usual, we're 11 weeks in. You should know that by now. But if you're a new listener, thank you. Make sure to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on a podcast app. Struggled through that one. Make sure you subscribe there as well. Randy, anything to add before we bounce?
We'll probably go over a quick like we'll spoiler warning review of Black Panther to probably end the episode next week, just so you know. Just with Christian watching it and being out for a couple weeks at that point. Just saying, but
Yeah.
it should be fun. I'm excited for Christian to watch it. This was the first Marvel movie in a long time that I beat Christian to watching. So it was a weird experience to not like come out of the theater and immediately talk to you about it.
I know.
Like I can't. Like I
I'll be
just
doing
said,
that,
"Hey, it
though.
was good." I don't want to say anything else though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'll be doing the same thing when I get out of there, which will be at like 2:00 your time or so. 11:30
yeah,
in the morning. It's such a weird movie time, man. We talked about this,
11:30.
but
Oh my god,
it's
is
like
that? Are you going Saturday? You said
Saturday morning. Yeah.
no.
So it'll be 10:30 your time that I'm
10:30
watching
on
Black Panther.
Saturday that I don't think I work. I don't think I'll be up.
Yeah. Well,
and
then
college
you've
games
got,
start at 11.
yeah, you've got 3 hours after that. So that's when I'll be doing my thing. So, all right. Yes, we will have a spoiler type of review for this. We'll fit it into the end. So if you don't want to
Yeah,
stick
no,
around, you don't have
obviously.
to. Football will come first. We will be back next Wednesday. Talk about Thanksgiving games. Isn't that nuts, man?
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we might not be back next Wednesday. I'll be
Okay.
back home.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it. We'll be back at some point next week, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll record early and stuff, and still drop it on Wednesday. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah.
Plans may change. So, but either way, you'll hear from us next week at some point. Anything else?
No.
Okay, cool. For Randy Hall, I'm Christian Williams. We'll talk to you guys sometime next week.